The RMR, the qualifier to the major, the first CS2 major, a prestigious event unlike other prestigious events. It's very rare, that you get the first, literally the first major. There's only one by definition, and so we've got kind of a lot of interesting discussions now. Obviously, Team Spirit has just won IM Katowice in dominating fashion, in astounding fashion, given the level of competition that we expected from other teams and from them. They 3-0 in the final. Their road was pretty much flawless. They dropped the map to Na'Vi, and even that map was very close and could have gone either way. So, I made a joking tweet about how it's Team Spirit, Na'Vi, the Mongols is the top three. But they did play the Team Spirit pretty close. The Mongols, they had a good game. But anyway, we're here to predict who's going to do what at the RMR. Now, I'm going to start with Asia because what I want to do is get kind of an A-B comparison. I want to predict a top half out of the RMR and then run the RMR simulator based on the seeding and then compare it just for fun so that we see what's going on. Just because the Swiss seeding system, there's too many results to predict each one, guaranteed, right? It's not a fixed bracket to the point where we know what matchups can go where and then who goes what. There's a lot of variance in it, but I'm gonna give you my honest opinions either way. And let's start with the Asian RMR. Now, this is very easy, in my opinion. The bracket doesn't really matter, apart from if something messes up. Right? Asian RMR. This one I am more familiar with the teams in, at least from the individual perspective, apart from this team here. And this team, because they came from the other, at least close qualifiers, and I didn't really watch any of that, me personally. But the Mongols, best team from Asia in a while. They don't always win against domestic teams, but they do get the job done at the RMR. They've done it every time. I don't see a reason to doubt them. Even though Mzino is a weak link, Senzu has been carrying lately, and you can expect consistency from Blitz and Techno enough to take them through. Lin Vision have been choking at this for quite a while. And so have Tai Lu, even though they've been improved with this. But with Advent and Orman both, I don't see a reason that they're going to improve beyond what they are now. And so I don't think they can really beat the Mongols. And Greyhound with Dexter have been doing pretty damn well this entire time. They lost a few maps here and there, or even a series once. But since then, it's kind of been tight ship for Greyhound. If we just check out the matches they played, they lost this best of one, and then they just ran the gauntlet bracket. And it's been easy days since then, so I see no reason to doubt them here. And I'm just gonna straight up go Mongols, Greyhound, top two, make it to the major, simple as, right? This team stands no chance. They also have weird allegations. I don't know what's going on here. This team, not the original roster. Nice to see Issa back, but it is just to steal the spot because they have 2 Russian players and then 3 people qualifying for their Middle East slot. It is what it is. And then this team also had their own accusations about, quote-unquote, cheating or radar or whatever. I watched the game. I didn't necessarily see anything immediately suspicious. They did have a lot of good rotations and reads on very high ping, which you could attribute to whatever, right? The admins, they looked at it and they said there wasn't any problem. They took a spot, potentially from God's Rain, which did cause a bit of outrage here and there, especially in the Indian scene, but neither these team nor God's Rain are going to win any games here anyway. So it is what it is, right? So I'm not going to spend too much time on this because I think it's just the Mongols and Greyhound. I'll give a shout to Atox. I think Atox could take the slot from Greyhound. I think Atox not going to beat the Mongols in an important match like this. The mentor of the Mongols in important matches is very, very strong. But I think Atox could actually beat Greyhound in an Elian best of 3 or in an early game best of 3. And then Greyhound can end up in a more difficult position, more chances for them to lose. Greyhound slot is the one in contention. I don't see a reason for the Mongols to not take the slot. That's my prediction there. My final answer, Mongols and Greyhound. Special shout out to Atox. Linvision and Tailu, I don't think they're really going to do it. Okay. Now we can start getting into the spicy discussions. Let's start with the Americas RMR. I did watch a few Americas games here and there. Now I'm gonna put this here. This is the this show. How does this show? Let me see. Okay, it shows good. We'll go with the classic UI and order it thusly. America's here and there. Here we go. Right. Now, how many slots are there? 5 slots at the major. So the top 5, well, given the tiebreakers here and there. Hit show lineups. A lot of really weak Brazilian teams here, to be quite honest. Like, this team, not very impressive. 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 This team, lucky to make it. Of course, everybody knew that. What flag is this? Venezuelan flag. Nice to see. Just see variants in flags. Always. Now, depth is still standing in here, so I'm not going to predict 4 M80, sadly. If they had their actual IGL Manx, then they would probably be a lock. But without Manx, I don't see a reason to pick him personally. So, without looking at the prediction, top 5 to make it. Let's start with the obvious ones, Complexity, Furia, Liquid. I don't see a reason for these guys to not make it in the best of 3 limits game. I don't see, unless they all lose best of 1s and then it ends up being that way, then I don't see them losing it. Like, Furia suck internationally, but Quesarado alone can carry this team to beat, like, all these essentially, like, part-time players. You know what I mean? I know some of them aren't playing part-time, but for the purposes of this explanation, right? So Complexity, Furia, and Liquid are locks for me. There's no way Liquid are not putting everything into this, because this is literally all they have. If they don't make this, immediate roster changes. Or Pain, like G2, you know? Expensive roster, first of all. From there, it kind of becomes very difficult to predict, because then now you have M80, which could still play pretty good enough to make it, even with depth standing in. He could have improved a bit with some aim prac. He has played CSGO years and years and years ago at this point. Imperial and MIB are both kind of on similar levels, in my opinion. MIB are probably better. No way. Bestia, I don't see why they would make it. Mayan is back. Nouns, kind of a borderline team. Timberman with the Dia is reported not to be playing, so I don't think they stand a chance. Wildcard is actually pretty good. And pretty much every team down here, I don't see them standing a chance, apart from Boss has a small chance. But they have their own extenuating circumstances. I think Cynic was a part of this team. Rest in peace to Cynic, of course. It's difficult circumstances. I think Ponalone is standing in due to, like, in the emergency transfer rules, like Valve and PGL allowed that to happen, which is great. But, you know, it's a difficult situation across the board, I'm sure. And even regardless of that, I think that aside, the level of this team is still lower than that of, like, Wildcard and Nouns and, like, MMBR and Imperial. There are a lot of teams playing for this 2 slots. So, out of MIBR, Imperial, Nouns, and Wildcard, I'm gonna say Wildcard make it. Because they have a really good team synergy. They have an experienced IGL, and I think Warden is a fairly experienced coach, obviously 1.6 days player, but for, like, grit in tight situations like this, I think Warden can pull through, and I think MIBR should probably make it as well. They have good individuals. They don't really necessarily have the best team, but Safe and Insani are both pretty, like, I don't know Safe has been doing pretty well, right? From memory. Oh. Ooh, but Insani at least has been popping off, right? Ooh, it's not as good as it was. Ooh, maybe I shouldn't predict them. No, I'm not gonna let one stat skew my opinion, my honest opinion. I think it's MIBR and Wildcard, honestly. I think Nads have done a lot of choke artistry in this situation, but they could get a good bracket to go through. And maybe with the individual liability, not gonna really work. So I'm going to put Wildcard and MIBR. So Complexity, Furia, MIBR, Liquid, and Wildcard is my 5. Okay, and this time we can actually predict it using the simulator. Okay, matchup by matchup, all these rounds. Furia beat Nouns, no question. Timberman without an AWPA, Complexity smokes him. Boss stands no chance against MIBR. Well, they stand a chance, but not much of one. M80 versus Odic. Honestly, M80 beats them, yeah. Ain versus Legacy. This is like the battle at the bottom of the barrel. Honestly, I'm gonna put Legacy. I'm gonna put Legacy over Pain, because Pain have not really got the pieces anymore. They got Big Ozeron and QZ. That's about it, but they don't really have, like, much else. Whereas here we've got I think I rate most of the individuals on this. Even if Code Zero is opening, I don't think it's really that big of a deal in the individual rifler meta here. Wildcards over Red Cannon, sticking with my initial impressions. I'm going to predict against Rocket every time, frankly. Imperial vs Liquid. I could see Imperial upsetting here, but I'm going to go with Liquid still. Furia, Liquid, these are still best of ones, right? So, I think Complexity are going to have their shit together for the RMR. That's my honest opinion. I think Furia win in the best of one. Honestly, Furia win in the best of one. Because I think Liquid is gonna they're gonna trash like some of these weaker teams, but against a top team, I think they need a best of three. They need that like safety net to really get confident. I think they're not. I think Team Liquid strike me as a slow start team, and this is purely vibes because we haven't seen them play enough. I don't wildcard as good as I think they are. I don't think they're good enough to beat Complexity when all they have is a major qualification on the line. Like Complexity, otherwise, they're just nothing. MIBR beat Legacy, it's no question. M80 do beat Bestia. Now that I think about it, M80 might actually win just because some of these other teams that they're ending up facing against due to their high seed. These are really bad teams. Rocket don't win this. Who's even on Red Cannons? These lineups are impossible to predict. I'm predicting against Wood 7, okay? That's my take. I'm predicting against Wood 7. Imperial win this one, and Nouns win this one. The higher seeds are winning most of these games, actually. All of these games, now that I think about it. Hey, seeding, maybe the seeding works after all. M80 don't stand a chance here, sadly, with their IGL. Complexity against MIBR, in a best of 3 Complexity easily. This 1-1 game, yep, Imperial, in my opinion. I'm going to put Wildcard over Pain here, and I'm going to put Liquid here. And I'm going to put Nouns. Okay, a tiebreaker game, doesn't matter who gets the slot. I'm going to say Complexity get this slot, actually. In a best of 3, I'm going to say Complexity take the Legend slot. Okay, Liquid, Nouns. I'm going to put Liquid through. Wildcard, Imperial. I'm going to put Wildcard through. And MIBR, M80, I'm going to put MIBR through. So if the system works properly, it is who I said will qualify. So you know what? You can't blame me. You can't really blame the system at that point because, well, I guess one upset here. Like for example, if Pain beat this, then the entire system is well. No, it's actually then Liquid don't qualify, but Liquid will beat MIBR, yeah, so then it would just be M80 instead. But I think I've got the majority right anyway. Just from the top down. Okay, that's the Americas done. Take me to Europe A. Because we need to do Europe A, then B, then the decider for the final slot. As you all know. Okay. Now we're back. Are you confident in your own statements? No. I'm pretty confident now that I think about it. Okay. How many slots are in here? How many slots are in the LCQ now that I have to say it? 1. That's a brutal LCQ, let me tell you that. Okay. So I'm going to pick a top 8. I'm not going to pick who's going to go to this because that's 3 teams. That's too variable. I'm going to pick a top 8 because these are 8 guaranteed slots. And then we'll see who goes to the we'll see who goes to LCQ purely based off of this because it's impossible to predict who's going to be in the LCQ and win it because that's 3 in each who don't get in the top half and then 1 out of those 6. It's like that's too much to predict. At that point I'm already grasping at like air predicting a top 8 in this. Predicting a top 1 in a 6 team event taken from 3 teams in 2 different events is like hell. So I'm not going to do it. I'll instead rely on whatever I predict here. Because you can do it in the direct prediction, because that's how it works. Okay. RMRA. Now it's going to be difficult to not just predict the top here, well, except for 9 Pandas. I don't think these guys are going to win. Not going to lie. Okay. I'm not gonna go crazy enough to be like, oh, G2's not gonna make it. Okay, like m0NESY alone can carry to major qualification. Like his form is better than it was when they didn't make it due to Hooksy. I mean, due to Nico. I'm sorry, my agenda's slipping there. Due to Nico, he didn't carry that last map or whatever. That's a while ago now that I think about the Rio. It may have been Nico that did carry because it was on Inferno against Game Legion. Not that bad in retrospect. It is the same team that made the major final in 2023. Of course, different time frame. They should have still made it. But it is what it is, right? At the end of the day. Okay. I think it's not going to be easy to say any of these top 4 don't make it. I think that's a lock. And I'm going to put VP as well as a lock, just based on... Well, they did kind of bomb out last time, but... Given that they didn't make the last major, I think they're going to have a mental state better this time to make it. So I'm going to say top 5 out of 8 is the top 5 that we see here. Beyond that, though, it gets a bit tricky. Let's take a look. I'm gonna start ruling teams out instead of ruling them in, and then we're going to see where we go. I don't know what the hell is going on here. I guess they do all speak the native language. Does Romania speak like a Spanish-Portuguese like blend? I guess they may. Otherwise, this doesn't make sense. Okay, yes, Fnatic team has potential, but really have not been playing that great. This team is not going to make it. I don't see how Into the Breach is going to qualify, me frankly. Or NIP. Like, this team just sucks. Eternal Fire is actually decent. And so is BetBoom. What has Fnatic been playing like lately? Just to refresh my memory. Ooh. Well, can't hold that against him. Come on. Okay, first of all, 9 Pandas is not making it. I'm ruling that one out. I don't see 3D Max making it. They don't really play like up to the level. I'm gonna say EF make it. Okay, that gives me 2 more slots. I'm gonna say Amcal make it actually, now that I think about it. I'm gonna say because these guys, their riflers are actually fairly experienced at this point. Not at the top, but at this kind of mid-level, I think they do have what it takes to like put down all of these like mid-tier teams. And so do BetBoom. So I'm gonna say BetBoom and Amcal round this up for a top 8. But predicting each game is gonna be difficult. So I'm gonna say that. And then so FaZe, G2, Na'Vi, Falcons, VP, EF, BetBoom, and Amcal is my top 8 here. I don't honestly, I don't believe in Fnatic. I just don't. Crims isn't a carry, so his experience is going to be cool and all, but it's not going to help them win. It's going to help them like stay. I don't know. Afro, QB, and Metis. Metis should have had more potential. Afro, QB, and Body as a core is just like weak to me. Body is as an IGL he was fragging out for a little bit, but I don't know what he's cooking these days. Okay, FaZe against 9 Pandas. FaZe could lose this, but I think now that they are frozen, they're gonna win. Previously, they would have lost. I think frozen alone is like the young best of 1 fragger that they needed, but they just didn't have it before. VP should beat Soul. I don't see how. You know what? Na'Vi could lose to Koi here, but okay. Are there any upsets here? Oh, Falcons is bottom seed here, so that's like a quote-unquote upside, but this is like just makes sense. Everything here makes sense to me. For predicting, I'm not even gonna like G2. Like, there's no firepower in this Into the Breach lineup. Okay. FaZe vs Falcons. Honestly, in a best of 1, Falcons probably beats FaZe, if I'm being honest, because they do have a tendency of sleeping on the job FaZe from time to time. And Falcons, I think Boros might just frag out in like a one map wonder. I think BetBoom actually beats VP in a best of 1. I think they'll be on good form here, Bet Boom, because they've been having a few stinkers. Na'Vi versus Amcal. I'm not gonna go crazy. I'm gonna say Na'Vi wins this. I'm actually gonna say EF beats G2 in a best of one. As for the rest, I think ITB actually do beat Koi. Actually, no way. ITB suck. I just remembered. Seoul probably does beat NIP. 9 Pound is probably good enough to beat Enterprise. I'm gonna put Fnatic over 3D Max though. Na'Vi Falcons. I'm gonna say Falcons here, although it could go either way. Okay, Bet Boom EF for qualification. I'm gonna say EF. FaZe here, VP here, G2. These are still best of ones. Fnatic could win, but honestly, I don't think so. I don't feel the vibe that I get that G2 is gonna. I think G2 kind of changed mentally from like being able to play at the top. Now they can't even play at the top, but I think their middle game is kind of like changed because now they have a hyper carry in Monacy, and I think that's going to be enough compared to before, where Nico hyper carry was not really enough all the time. But now Monacy, I think, can do it. I think Amcal does win this. As hard as it hurts to say, I think NIP do beat ITB here, though. His head hurts. Na'Vi vs G2. Navi's been clearing G2 every game. I'm not going to stray against that prediction. I think Bet Boom wins against Amcal. FaZe VP is a rough lineup to have in a 2-1 game. I think VP don't win here. So probably So vs Koi, huh? I'm going to put Koi up, actually. Fnatic probably beat NIP. 3D Max probably beat 9 Pandas. Yeah, you know what? I think that's fair. I think this is a fair prediction. So I'm gonna run it this way. Okay, that's my Europe A. Now we gotta do Europe B, and then we do the last chance. Just on here because that's fixed. Okay. Oh gee, look at these guys. Look at this guy. Look at this dude. Okay. Vitality, Spirit. I mean, we know Spirit. Damn, Zontex is Ukrainian. I didn't even know Flag was. I forgot. Vitality, Spirit, Mouse, Monty. I think are all locks individually. They just have more than enough. Mouse is a bit rough here and there, but I think they should be fine. They've been practicing a lot. They've gotten some experience. Brolin did all right. It was a liability, I think, in that stage game, but you know, in a non-pressure situation like this, I think Yimfed and Zertian just find their openings and closings non-respectively. Swap those around. Cena are a liability. They're in trouble. I'm not even joking. So are Apex. I don't know what to. I think Ents are gonna make it just because this is the environment where the 9 core thrived in previously, and I think Heroic have proven enough to me. I think Heroic are gonna make it. So forget these two for now. Let's think about the rest. Game of Legion, I have to give them credit. They've proven it, and now it gets contentious. Okay. I think the bottom 3 are the bottom 3. I don't think any of these guys stand no chance. I'd like it to have made it here. I think OG stand no chance. Now we got to choose between Astralis, Preezy, Guild. This is a lot. This is harder because this is bottom heavy, middle heavy rather. So I'm gonna put these 4 as a lock, and we have to think about the other 4 slots. I'm gonna put Heroic as a lock as well, just because I actually rate their play. Okay, these 5 as a lock, and then we have to think about these like 7. Between these, which 3 qualify for the direct slot? I'm gonna say no for Apex. I'm gonna say no for Eagles. I'm gonna say no for Preezy. And I'm gonna now I have to choose between C9 and Game of Legion. I don't know. Who are C9 actually beating these days? Like convincingly, you know, like they beat VP, but that's kind of a weird matchup. You know what I mean? These are all weird matchups. These aren't like, you know, because they're losing to Big, they're losing to VP here. Heroic wasn't ready yet here. I don't know. I don't know if C9 can beat Gamer Legion. They can probably beat Preezy. Okay, I'm gonna have to rule out Preezy from this set. And Apex. I don't believe in either of these teams at the moment. Sorry to praise dreams, but so then I have to choose 3 from these 5. It's gonna come down to the wire. I'm gonna say the thing is, with the bracket's gonna pan out differently, but I'm gonna say no C9 and no Guild Eagles. I'm gonna say Gamer Legion, Astralis, and Ents make it, and that's my honest opinion. Because, and here's why: Ents, A, they're just hyped off of a good run, and B, they're individuals. They don't really need that much IGLing at this point. Glaive can do whatever he wants. I think Goofy, Diha, Hades, and Kyla will just kind of frag out in this low pressure but high stakes. You can put it that way, or whatever you want to phrase, like a non-crowd but high money importance event, right? Like the RMR. And then I think they just make it. I think Apex, they just don't have individuals anymore. Pretty much. I don't know. Tatsanito just has not impressed me at all ever since he made this jump. Sense is like a problem. Young IGO, he has Stiko to help him, but Stiko's not a fragging element. Neither is Jacob. He's like a role player. So really, the only fragger is Nook, and that's just not enough. Because Nook is not modesty, you know, so he can't just carry this team to relevance. So that's why I rule out Apex. Eagles have had too many like good performances in a row, and I just don't. This time, I think they are actually outpaced by the tier 2 competition. I don't think they've got it like set the way that all these other teams. Like I think Gamer Legion have got good game plans around them, and they've got good team synergy and vibes. And I think like in a close game, Eagles could lose to like Preezy. They could lose to OG even, and OG stand no chance of making this, in my opinion, unless they get a good bracket. That's the only hope, right? So, and I think Astralis, they're gonna get their stuff together for this one, like genuinely. I think Device and Blame F is enough to just keep a stable floor for this team to make it. And honestly, C9 have just been getting worse and worse. Axel is not showing up. Electronic, you know, he frags, and then, you know, that's all they've got really. Because Perfecto, he gets his clutches maybe, but then Boomage and Hobbit are both kind of like here and there. So honestly, C9 have got very difficult because if a team plays against him, like a team, like Gamer Legion, because Gamer Legion are a team. They're not a bunch of individuals. C9 can play against a bunch of individuals because they are a bunch of individuals and they're not really a team. So they can get upsets, but I think this is not about upsets. This is about like floor and who you can beat, and I think C9 have a tough time in that. So final answer: Vitality, Spirit, Mouse, Monty, Heroic, Ents, Astralis, Gamer Legion. Final answer. And now let's run the bracket. Yep. I'm gonna put Heroic here. Vitality, Heroic in a best of 1. I think Vitality this time trounced them. I think they're going to be pretty angry after a Catter loss. Because that was purely mental. Now the mental is not going to be as bad. They're going to have it shifted. They have the staff to run that kind of gauntlet. I think Astralis in a best of 1 actually pretty clears Mouse. I don't think Mouse are a best of 3 like mental game type of team. Spirit, I'm not going to predict against Spirit pretty much ever. At the moment, you can't. It's unreasonable to do so. Monty against C9. Monty win this one again. They have the mental edge. Nexus Gaming, get out of here. OG, get out of here. Yep. I see win all these. Vitality should win this game pretty solidly, as well as Spirit here. And then Preezy I don't think they're really gonna. They don't have any much fragging power on this team. I'm gonna put Heroic over Guild in a best of 1. And I'm actually gonna put Ents over C9 in a best of 1. Sticking with my earlier gut feeling. Gamer Legion over Apex. I have to put OG over Ecstatic. Ecstatic are like worse than OG, but it sucks to do so, and Para are going to be worse than Nexus. Okay, Monty Gamer Legion has been close. This time I'm going to say Monty make it. Astralis Ents in the best of 3. I'm going to say Astralis. I don't think the individuals make it in throughout the whole best of 3. I think Australians are gonna have enough of a backbone by then. Heroic Mouse in the best of 3 at that point, but I think Heroic can get better and better. The Breezy probably do beat OG. I think C9 don't. I think C9 do beat Guild here though. Honestly, I think Gamer Legion can do it because they've been in this position so many times before that they can probably beat C9 here. Right, but even here, C9 could lose. You know what I mean? I think C9 are in a really tough position. I don't think they realize that it's Jova for them. Apex not against this Heroic. This Apex is just like so weak, and this Prezi is also so weak. So honestly, I think every single time, and you can call this bias, but obviously it's biased. The team I predict to win, I'm obviously going to think they're better than the teams that don't make it in my prediction. That just makes sense, right? It's not so much of dependent. It doesn't pan out that way at all. So I think this is fair. Yep, I think this is also the same. And now we can go to the actual the last chance qualifier. 3 teams from each RMR battle it out. Bunch of best of 3s, and then 1 slot at the major. There's no way we can predict like that exactly, but based on our predictions before, we'll see who ends up in the decider, right? What a mess. Okay, only 1 team makes it from here. This is how it is based on my previous predictions here. Obviously, this is very variable, so just don't take this one too seriously. Or the other ones. Fnatic C9. I assume are these all best of 3s or not? I need to check the damn rulebook. Okay, yeah. These are all Elium games, because if you lose 1, you're out. So they are best of 3, because Elium games are best of 3. In a best of 3, C9 will beat Fnatic. That's not that outrageous. I think 3D Max. Ugh, this is a battle of terribleness because neither of these teams are making it all the way. I think Prezi should take Koi here. 3D Max or 3D Max or Apex? 3D Max or Apex? I'm gonna say Apex. Or Apex, whatever. Prezi this is a tiebreaker match, right? Okay. Well, whoever loses is out, so it's not really a tiebreaker, but you get what I mean. It is, but it's not at the same time. I think C9 beat Prezi. Honestly, I think C9. This makes sense. I think C9 can scrape by here based on individuals alone, because none of these are legit teams, except maybe 3D Max and Prezi are probably teams. But the rest of these are just individuals in my book. I just don't trust the individuals of like. I don't think 3D Max and Prezi are teams good enough to beat C9's individuals. You get my analysis. So I think C9 make it out of this like gauntlet, but I don't think they make it in the main one. And which means the total slots for my major, to recap everything that we've gone over so far, right? We'll have that open already. The Asia and the Americas, right? Just a quick recap for you. Mongols. So the top 8 that are going to be in the, it's not called Legends anymore, but they're going to be in the next stage waiting, is going to be Complexity. How many Legend slots are in here? Damn, I have Betboom in Legends. That's funny. Complexity, Falcons, Eternal Fire, Navi, Betboom, Vitality, Spirit, and Astralis. That's going to be the top 8, like, already qualifying to the next stage. And then the 16 teams in the qualifier stage, whatever you call it now, I forget. Mao's, Monty, Gamer Legion, Heroic, Ents, FaZe, G2, VP, Amcal, C9, C9. I have Complexity winning this. this is not my actual prediction, but I'm gonna say what my actual prediction is instead of this one, even if it is impossible. Furia, Wildcard, MIBR, and Liquid, and then Mongols and Greyhound. And that's the major in the most confusing way explained possible. So there's that. If you want to see more predictions / CS talk, make sure to subscribe, join the Discord. We've got a Discord down below. Check out some of my articles. I write articles at least once a month talking about Counter-Strik. If you do, ! Substack in the chat, and it will link my Substack. If you want to check it out, as well as ! Twitter, YouTube, Discord, all that stuff is in the Twitch chat commands. And if you're watching on YouTube, that should all be in the description below. I'm pointing where you can't see me, so maybe when I get camera, my instincts will be on point anyway. And yeah, enjoy the Counter-Strike that's gonna be up and coming, because there's gonna be a bloodbath for sure.